How's everybody doing? All right. First of all, I want to say that it's an honor to be a part of this event. It's an honor for me to be here, and I feel so blessed to be asked to be a part of this. Brother Malachi reached out to me through Facebook and said, told me about the event, asked me would I be a part of it. If so, he'll put me in contact with Ms. Tesla, and that's how it all happened. But the first thing I want to say is, at 46 years old, and a black man living out my existence in Durham, North Carolina, in this part of America, I needed this event. I need this event to validate my own worth. And to put a long story short, one of the conversations I had with Ms. Hale when she called me, it was just trying to understand what this event was about. And in talking about it, she said, well, just go up there and say that. So to make it real quick, this is what I told her. As she said it, I am an elementary school teacher. And when you say that, people be like, wow, but I want to say that it's not something that I plan or something that I've been doing forever. I've only been doing it for 4 years. And a part of the reason that I've only been doing it for 4 years is in 1994, I got my felony. And to make a long story short, I could truly say I was one of those in the wrong place at the wrong time, hanging out with the wrong people, doing things in college that my parents told me not to do, but that's no excuse. So when I went through the process of going through the system, I took my punishment, I took my accountability because that's the way I was raised. I didn't really have a problem with what happened to me. It was, as a lot of people spoke about, the collateral damage and the after effect of walking out in life knowing you're a convicted felon. I had to deal with that. And January of 2018, this year, like I said, I've been working in the school system for 4 years. Big shout out to the Southern Coalition for Social Justice for getting my felony in a position to where I could get a job in the school system. So that was a big deal. And that took a long time for me to even know that those type of places existed. And the reason why I can relate to an event that happened just this year in 2018. I've been working in the school system for 8 years total as a volunteer and a permanent sub, and now I moved to lateral entry teaching, and if I pass my certification this summer, next week actually, I'll be full certified. So that's fine. But this is the reason why it took so long for me to get to a place where I feel good about what I'm doing in life. Just this simple. January this year, for the last 4 years, I've been teaching in the school system. I know lots of people. I've been doing spoken word for 20 years in the area, so I know a lot of positive people in the community, a lot of people from all branches of life doing great things. They know me, but I stay real low and I only come out if you ask me. And this is the reason why. I'm at the soccer game. First of all, I'm coaching kids that won't nobody else even bother with. People don't even bother these kids. These kids need outlets. They're overlooked. So I said I'll coach them. Been coaching them for 4 years. Been partnered with PAL, which is the Police Athletic League in Durham. They got a couple of sports leagues which they allow elementary school age kids to participate in. So I'm out there at the soccer field, and I'm walking up. My little kid's out there waiting, Mr. Jackson. And when I walk up, a police officer calls me to the side. And he calls me to the side, and he takes me to the side, has a conversation with me. This is in 2018. And he says that because we moved from whatever they were doing to having Dick Sporting Goods as a sponsor and all these other reasons, my record was pulled. And now I have to sit down and explain to him and write a statement of a felony that I committed in 1994. And it's 2018, 24 years ago. And I haven't been in no trouble since. I can go get 1,000 letters of recommendation and all this stuff, but I'm looking at him like, I just want to quit. I just want to quit. I just want to walk away from the soccer field. I want to walk away from the kids. I want to walk away from the school system, because no matter where you go in life, no matter how hard you work, no matter what you try to do to better yourself, you're going to run into something or someone that's going to remind you of something that you've done at a time where all you did was make a simple mistake. And it broke your heart when it happened. You rectified it when it happened. You prayed every prayer. You apologized to everybody, your parents that you disappointed the most. And here I am 24 years later being asked to write a statement about something that I done in 1994. And I wanted to quit right then. And that's been my life as far as dealing with being a convicted felon. And every now and then, at least once or twice a year, you run into those reminders and you just want to give up, and you just want to quit, and you just want to go into depression, or you want to go into some anger, or you want to go into some lashing out, or you might want to make a choice like my man Shake was saying about, I'm just going to go back to doing things that don't matter no way because I don't matter. But somehow, through the grace of God, I've kept my faith and I've kept pushing. And it takes events like this, it takes being around people like this, it takes being asked because of my spoken word talent and my gift that God gave me to make me whole some days, just to make me whole. So that's what I've had to deal with. And to everybody that's involved here today, it's been very inspirational. And I want you guys to keep having faith and to keep pushing and to keep overcoming this depression and this psychological trauma that's the result of the things that we go through when we're involved in systematic injustices, whether we're on the victim end or being the victimizer. There's still a psychological price and a depression that takes place in yourself and the people around you. And just keep praying for them. And just keep praying for everybody as I will pray for you guys. Anything anybody in this room need from me, I'm willing to give it. I'm a spoken word artist. I do many great things with spoken word. And I don't really talk about it a lot, but just my being here is a validation of the faith that we can overcome in spite of all of this that we go through. And this event is gonna carry me until the next time somebody walk up to me and remind me. So that's it. And because I wasn't paired with a victim, and my story is my story, it's 24 years old. I was young and dumb and did some things that I should have not done, and I took accountability for it. So I don't like to dwell on it. I kind of consider myself preemptive these days. I try to catch people before the system catch them. And that's one of the reasons that I was driven and I guess led to the elementary school system. And so, with that being said, I'm gonna do a poem from a day in the life of an elementary school teacher. And the way that I'm gonna relate it to this event is that I work at a school right here in the heart of Durham. And this school is being affected by everything from crime and violence and poverty in the neighborhood to gentrification and all of this. But the things that I speak on in this poem, and I guess some of the kids that I'm speaking on in this poem, these kids is the residue of the stories that you have told. I work with the kids that are left behind when the parents are locked up, when there's no father in the home, sometimes there's no mother in the home, sometimes grandma is 80 years old trying to raise a 9-year-old and he's driving her crazy. And that is what happens when we get trapped and locked up into these systematic things, and they go on for generations because kids are left behind and kids are dealing with things that they can't process. And sometimes it comes out as what they like to classify as ADHD and all the other things that they use to continue this pipeline to prison. So I just want to share just my experience as a school teacher when working with kids that has been disenfranchised because families have been torn apart. And there's no racial lines, there's no, there are biases, but these things affect everyone. And so this is a day in the life. I heard him when he said, word to blood, on my mama, I'm a killer. And he was in the 2nd grade. And I'm his 2nd grade teacher. I don't want to tell the principal because she might suspend him for using gang language, so I'm standing there wondering just how can I reach him. So that becomes my only mission. So on certain days is forget about addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, because see, this child got real issues. And this Common Core curriculum is not common to his core, so on certain days, I go up in the classroom, I throw out all my lesson plans, and I just be changing the course. I be trying to make this child take a trip deep within himself for self-discovery, hopefully rearranging his course. Because right now, all his math add up to 0. Like 5, 4. He already know the routine. By the time the teacher get to 4, his body better be still facing forward, feet firmly planted to the floor. Like 3, 2, 1, 0. By the time the teacher get to 0, that child's voice better be gone and he better be on silent. But see, this kid still got something to say, but his teacher won't give him the time of day, so he'd rather react violent. Because he go from 0 to 100 like real quick. And the sad part is he can make a whole half a classroom act just like this. And it be leaving me brokenhearted and class ain't even started. Now picture this, me standing by the door, waiting to greet these beautiful little faces, feet crossing my threshold, walking across the floor. I say, good morning. She say, Mr. Jackson, my daddy just got locked up and I got anger management issues and I didn't take my medicine, so you about to have a long day. I just laugh at her, I smile and I say, girl, who told you that? I grab me a tissue so I can wipe the tears from her early morning beating. I tell her have a seating. I'm already reaching deep inside my heart, asking God to guide the meditations of my heart when I'm speaking. Cause man, this is teaching. And it be leaving me brokenhearted and class ain't even started. A fight break out down the hallway. I guess it started on the bus. Now they want to keep it going on all day. Now I'm a man. I work at a school full of women, so I feel obligated to run down there and help out in a small way. So I jump right in the middle, grab me a little arm, catch it in mid-swing about halfway. I separate him. I pull him to the side. I say, young man, you have got to calm down. He looked me dead in my eye and he said, Mr. Jackson, my daddy locked up and I just don't give a. What? So now I'm stuck on the last conversation that I had with his mother. That's when I told her that her son was having problems and we need to discuss it further. But I guess she didn't want me to know that she was a part of the problem, and I guess she didn't want that discovered because she screamed on me. She said, not my son. She said, you don't know my son. She said, my son would never. But however, since she thought that what I thought shouldn't be stated, now we both got to sit home and watch the school system make sure her son stay medicated. And I hate it. And it be leaving me brokenhearted and class ain't even started now. Don't get me wrong, I'm a teacher and I refuse to face defeat. I know for a fact that we're gonna have plenty of roses that come growing through this concrete. Cause I'm a teacher, and I can always find a silver lining. Matter of fact, we got some diamonds that will be shining on their perfect day in their perfect timing. But as soon as you find them, that's when things can start escalating. I found myself having to break up a conversation between two fourth grade boys who is giving their own version of sex education. And then when I do it, they tell me, Mr. Jackson, stop hating. And see, he already got his pants pulled down at half moon. I can't even take the time to tell him to pull them up because on my walkie-talkie, they telling me we got 2 girls in the first grade bathroom doing some inappropriate things. All I know is that Brenda got a baby and she got to find a dad soon. Cause I'm a father. And all of this, me, it bothers. And it be leaving me brokenhearted and class ain't even started, but like I said, I'm a teacher. I'm built for this. So I tell my class, come on in, have a seat, let us begin. But that's when I check my watch. That's when I realize it's already 3:10. So there's nothing left for me to do except send them home to you, where they learn all their lessons, and I'll let them teach me when they come back to school again. Y'all pray for our children. Amen. Thank you.